Welcome everybody to iPhone tips and tricks. So we're going to be looking at some different things that you can use on your iPhone to make life a little bit easier, and maybe we'll look at some things that perhaps you didn't know were there or hadn't known how to use before. So the first thing we're going to look at is FaceTime, because if you have an iPhone, if your family members or friends have iPhones, FaceTime right now is a really good way to kind of be able to connect with people. So your FaceTime app is this one right here. It looks like the green camera, very much similar to the Zoom app, which is blue. If you click into that, you'll see people that potentially have FaceTimed with you before. So you can choose one of those people to FaceTime with. So if I were to choose Barb, for example, she is not going to answer. So you're going to want to make sure that the camera is really kind of facing you, so that that they can have a good look, and that you're not looking up your nose or things like that. You can flip your camera around, so you're going to want to be sure that your camera is actually looking at you and not looking behind you, because you don't want to see everything that is going on behind you. They want to be able to see you. So Barb was not going to answer, but if you want to add somebody new that you haven't FaceTimed with before, all you do is click this little add button up here. So, and it's going to ask you to start typing. Now, it's going to pull somebody from your contacts. So I'm going to FaceTime with Kristen Brewer. Now I can audio FaceTime with her or video FaceTime with her. You know, if you're on an iPad, for example, that isn't actually a phone, you can use FaceTime to make an audio phone call. So if you're out and about, if you're able to get Wi-Fi and you need to call somebody, you can use your FaceTime app to make a phone call without using the video if you want to. You can do it audio only. If you want to add multiple people into the call, so say you wanted to talk to multiple households at the same time, you can add multiple people into the call, and it will call everybody all at the same time. So we'll get rid of Barb because we already bothered her once tonight, and we'll just call Kristen. I'm going to go ahead and tap video. Okay, so again, we're making sure that the camera is flipped towards me so that they can see me. They don't want to see my living room or what's in there. You have the ability to mute yourself if you want to, so that you can, you have the ability to mute yourself so that, you know, if you have to take a phone call or talk to somebody else, you can do that. So all of a sudden, my phone kicked out, so we're going to add myself back in. But FaceTime is a really good way to have a conversation with people that you want to talk to, that you want to see, that you can't see, because you know, you have COVID, or they have COVID, or you're concerned, or you know, even as you are we're moving past this, you know, people are far away all the time. If you just want to have a conversation with somebody, you know, that's a really good way to do it. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again. And the next thing, does anybody have any questions about using FaceTime before I move on? Okay. So one of the other things that sometimes people worry about is creating a custom alert or having a phone number ring through. I leave my phone on silent quite frequently, which means if somebody important is calling me, I might not hear that phone call come in. My phone might buzz, but I might miss that. So I have my husband and my oldest son's phone calls ring through. So how you would do that is you go into your contacts, okay? So you would find the person that you want. So I'll select Angela Adams from the chamber. I am going to edit her contact. Right now, she is at a default ringtone. So I can change that to whatever I want it to be. So let's make her chime. Okay. And then I want to, let's see, on the ringtone again, I'm going to scroll up to the top, and up here is emergency bypass. So when my ring is set to silent, I can toggle that on. So when my ring is set to silent, and when Angela calls me, it will ring through. So this is important to know that it's going to do it. If you're in a meeting, if you're whatever it might be. So if you don't want them to call for some reason, then you are going to want to make sure to tell them not to call you during. All right. So that's a really good way, to make sure that you're getting those phone calls that you really want to make sure that you're getting.
Okay. Yep. All right. Now I'll mute myself again.
Thank you. So another concern is sometimes we're places and we've got our phone with us, but somebody wants us to read something. Now, one of the new applications for the iPhone is a magnifier. So they want us to read a document. We don't have our glasses with us, or it's really small, so the glasses just aren't even helping. We can use a magnifier, which is this one right here. Mine, I moved to my home screen, but if you don't have it on your home screen and you're not sure where it ended up after the new update, all you do is swipe right and it brings up this. And in your search bar, you can type magnifier and it will start to populate itself. So then you can choose it from there, okay? So now I have, and it pops open what is basically a camera application, and you can scroll along to make things very, very big. So, if you want to look at something, if you need to read, you can zoom in, you can zoom out. You can darken up or lighten up text, so you can make the contrast different. Sometimes when people...
Another question.
Sure, of course.
I went to search. I don't have magnifier. Now I have an 8 phone, okay? Not a 12, but I have an 8. And I have pretty much kept up with the upgrades, the
iOS updates.
Having it upgrade the system.
Yeah.
But I don't see magnifier anywhere.
Okay. So, and did you try typing it in and it didn't pop up?
I did. I typed it in
Okay.
and it said no results.
Okay, so you might be able to go to the App Store to get it. So if you type in app, so I'm going to send the directions out to people about how to get to all of these things, because I know that sometimes we do them in class, and then once we do them in class, you do that once and then you can't remember how you did it. So I have a Word document that I'm going to turn into a PDF that I'm just going to send out to everybody with the directions on how to get to everything.
Okay, good.
All right, so you can, if somebody has an issue with hearing, for example, your iPhone has a lot of accessibility applications on it. So we're going to go into settings now. Okay. So in settings, we are going to go to accessibility, which is right here. It looks like a blue guy. Okay. Now we're going to then go to audio visual. So we scroll down a little bit and we go to get to audio visual, which looks like a little bit of an eyeball plus a speaker. Okay. So, if we turn that on, we can listen, we can have some options to audio visual. But down here at the bottom, LED flash for alerts. So if you have a hard time hearing, or if the screen of your phone is faced down frequently, if you turn on LED flash for alerts, your phone camera will flash when you're getting a phone call or a text. So if you have hearing issues, or if you get involved in things and you just aren't paying attention, or even if you have your phone on silent, you can do LED flash for alerts, and when it's ringing, the flash on your phone will flash. So that is a very visual cue that somebody is looking to get in touch with you. I'm going to turn it off on mine for now. Okay. But there are some other things that you can do, as far as accessibility. So you can control lots of things. Also, you can have magnifier. So maybe you need to turn the magnifier on in settings.
Yep.
So mine happens to be on. So maybe that'll help you maybe that'll pop that app up for you.
I just turned that on.
All right. Okay. So you can also display text in size. So if you have a hard time seeing what's on your phone, you can make bold text, you can make larger text, you can change the shape of your buttons, you can reduce the transparency of things, you can increase the contrast. You can do a lot of different things to help you be able to view what is on your phone. You can also turn on audio descriptions. So if you have a visual impairment, or your phone's really small, you have a hard time reading things on there, if you turn that on, it will automatically play audio descriptions for you. So if a website or something has them on there, it will automatically do it for you. You can, if you have an Apple TV at home, you can control your Apple TV with your iPhone. You have the ability to change the way that your keyboard operates. If you want key repeat, on, you can do that. If you have hearing aids, so like my dad has hearing aids that are Bluetooth compatible. So you can set this up so that your iPhone automatically connects to Bluetooth compatible hearing aids.
Where is that?
So that is, if you go down, it's underneath hearing, and it's the first one, hearing.
Yep. Hearing.
So there's lots of things that you can do under accessibility, which are really amazing for if you have visual impairments or hearing impairments, or if we're getting older, if we have to wear glasses and we lost them, whatever it might be. I know that sometimes I wear glasses all the time. When I wake up in the morning, if my glasses aren't right next to the bed and I need to check what my day's schedule is, some days I want things to be bigger than other days. The other thing is, if you store your passwords on your phone. So if you have websites that you go to that you store your passwords, one of the biggest things is that I get frustrated when I go and use my computer that I can't remember what a password is. I store it on my phone, but it's not stored on my computer. Now I don't remember what it is, but it's stored on there. So how do I get it out, right? Like, we've saved the password. How do we get it out? So we can ask Siri to help us. Hey Siri, show me my passwords. No, it might not do it because I'm in Zoom right now. But if you say, hey Siri, show me my passwords. Right now my audio for my phone is being used by Zoom, so Siri's not using it. But it will pull up all of the accounts that you have saved passwords for. And it will show you, if you tap on it, it will show you what your username is. And then if you tap on it, it will show you what your password is. It's going to ask you again for the password for your iPhone. So if you have a fingerprint scanner on there, it'll ask you to do that. If you just use a digital, a number password, it'll ask you to put that in before it shows you what they are, so that it can make sure that you're the one that's asking for those passwords. But it's a really good way, especially if you're not home, if you're out and about, your password's trapped on your phone somewhere, and you need to log into an account and you don't remember what it is. Also, if you have AirPods, which are the headphones that are wireless. If you have the Apple brand wireless headphones called AirPods, you can ask Siri to find your AirPods. My son loses his AirPods all the time. They're tiny, they fall out, or he puts them down somewhere and he doesn't remember what he did with them. So you can say, hey Siri, find my AirPods. Now, what it's going to do for you is it's going to say, are you sure that they're not in use by somebody? And you would say yes, because they're yours and you just don't know what you did with them. If you think that they might be in somebody's ears, like somebody else borrowed them and didn't tell you, you're going to want to double check before you continue on. If you are sure that nobody else is using them, then all you have to do is say, hey Siri, find my AirPods, and it will play a really loud screaming noise into your AirPods so that you can locate them around the house. But it is very loud, and nobody would want that noise going into their ear, but it is really loud so that you can hear it without being near them. So that's a really good thing that you can do. All right. So does anybody get calls to their phone that they don't like to answer, or they get calls all the time and they don't know what it is and they just let it go to voicemail? Me. It happens all the time. I get calls, I don't know what they are. If you only want to see the calls coming into your phone from your contacts, meaning that you know the person, you can screen your calls. So you go to settings on your phone, you tap settings, and then you're going to choose phone, your phone settings. I will find it. So it's right here, the little green button that says phone. And then you're going to silence unknown callers, which is down here. So if you click on that and then you turn it on, unknown numbers will be silenced and sent to voicemail and be displayed on the recents list. So if somebody wants to leave a message, they can still leave a message, but it doesn't keep, unknown numbers don't keep ringing through. So if it is somebody you know, they will go ahead and leave a message for you. If you don't want your phone number to show up when you call somebody, you can turn that off also under calls where it says show my caller ID. So when you call somebody, your name and number shows up. If you don't want that to happen for whatever reason, say you were a doctor or you were a teacher and you were calling your students remotely and you don't want to give them your personal cell phone number, you can just turn it off. So the next time you make a call, they're not going to get your number. But again, it will also show up as an unknown person. It will come up as caller ID blocked. So, all right, so the next thing that we're going to look at is a QR code. So I don't know, here, I'll show everybody what this looks like. I'll use my camera. So, you know, if you've ever seen a poster or something that has one of these little digital images on it that is a QR code, all you need to do it is put your phone over it. And then, whoops, I've said no 1,000 times at this point. And then it will pop up, I keep saying no, it will pop up open Google Forms in Safari. So it gives you directly to a URL. So what a QR code is that it is a direct link usually to a website or some kind of form that somebody wants you to fill out. They put them on the backs of Heinz ketchup bottles. They put them on flyers. We use them on registration posters about events so that people can scan the code and directly register. So, so it's really helpful, but all you need to do is scan it with your phone camera. You don't need a special application anymore. It used to be that you needed a special application to be able to read a QR code, but now your camera will read it for you. So that's all you need. They like to listen to music or the radio or something while they're going to sleep at night.
Podcasts.
Yeah, podcasts. So if you have something going on that you want to listen to, like if I turn something on when I go to sleep, it's going to end up playing all night long because, you know, I fall asleep and I'm not listening to it. But what you can do is you can set a sleep timer for it. So if you go into your clock function and you go down here to timer, because there's different options. There's stopwatch, there's an alarm, and there's a world clock. So if you go to timer, you can set it for however long you would like to play. So if it usually takes you about 20 minutes to fall asleep, then you can toggle it to 20 minutes. And then you're going to go down here to say when timer ends. Now, right now, when my timer ends, it's just going to play a noise because I often use my timer as a reminder if I'm coloring my hair or if I am cooking something and I want to remember to go turn the oven off or take it out of the oven. But if I tap that, it's going to give me the option to do other things. So if I scroll way down to the bottom, I can select stop playing. So if I have a podcast on or I've got music playing, when 20 minutes is over, it will automatically stop that playing. So what's great about that, especially if you're listening to a podcast, or even if you're watching Netflix or something like that on an iPad, it will shut all of that down so it just doesn't keep playing all night long. Okay. All right. So one of the other really cool features that the iPhone now has is a measure app. So if I scroll to my left, I'm going to type in measure and it's going to pop open this app for me. Now, it says move your iPhone to start. So it says I'm too close. So if I want to measure the length of my computer, for example, I choose the start point and then I move my phone along and I choose my end point. And when I move it back to the middle, it will tell me that my computer keyboard is 12 inches long. So, all of those times when you're like, man, this is really long. I don't want to, like, if you want to measure the side of your house or a wall or a board or a picture frame or a picture so that you can, all the time you're like, oh, I have to go find the tape measure, right? So the other thing that measure does is that it's also a level. So if you're hanging pictures, you can put your phone on top and it will tell you when it is perfectly level. Which is great because then you don't have to search out a level. So the next thing we're going to look at is that we're going to look at our Safari. So when you use your internet browser, if you tap this little square over here, it'll show you all of the tabs that you have open. And I have a lot because every single time you open a new tab on your phone, it keeps all the other tabs open. So your Safari is working in the background. So it's really important every once in a while to close out the tabs that you're not using. So I can tap this button down here and I could close them all out one at a time by hitting the little X in the corner. But that's really annoying, especially if you've got a lot open, right? But if I just hold my finger down on this button instead of just tapping it, I can close all 37 tabs at once. So it'll make sure that I really want to do that. And I say, yes, close all 37 tabs, and it will close them all for me all at once. So I don't have to go through and tap every single one to get it to close. Okay. All right. So one of the other cool new apps that they have on the phone is a translate app. So I got to use this app very soon after they added it to the phone. So it's this one right here. So you can enter text in. So if there's something that you don't know what it says, you can enter the text, But the best thing is that it can be voice. So if you're speaking with somebody that does not speak English, if you're traveling to another country, you can use this to communicate with people. So if we're going to say, all right, we're English US that we're starting with, and we would like it translated to Spanish. So then all I do is tap this blue button that looks like a microphone right here. So it works really well. I was able to use it to speak to a woman who only spoke Spanish. So it was really great. She spoke into it and it translated it in English to me. And then I flipped it around and I spoke in it and it translated English to Spanish for her. It was a really great experience because it wasn't all of the frustrations that you're normally going through. One thing that I would say is make sure you're talking a little bit slower than you would normally speak, especially on the Spanish to English side. Spanish to English, people that speak in Spanish have a tendency to speak very quickly. So making sure that you translate to them to just slow down a little bit. But it does a really nice job. All right. So I don't know if anybody ends up having to scan documents, but when you sometimes have something, so maybe, especially now that we're remote, but maybe a doctor's office has sent you a form that you need to sign and scan back to them, or you need to sign some paperwork for an attorney or whatever it might be. But you don't have a scanner. So you could print it out all day long, but you can't scan it back to them. Or you made some edits using your phone and now you're not quite sure what to do. So you can choose this Notes app right here. Okay, so this is notes that you've made. You can add a new note down at the bottom. So if you select down here, this new note, it will add a new note for you. And then you're going to choose your camera, the camera button that's right here. And then we're going to say scan documents. And then all you have to do is position it over the piece of paper that you want to sign or you want to scan into as a PDF and press the camera button. Then it's going to let you crop it, right? So maybe you didn't want something in there. So then you get to say, do you want to retake it or do you want to keep the scan? So we'll say keep the scan and it turns it into a PDF. Now, it will allow you to scan multiple pages. So if a document is multiple pages long, you can keep going. If it's not, you can just hit save. Okay. And now this has scanned as a PDF. So what can we do with it? So, but you can use your finger to sign a document, which is great. And then when you're done, you just press this little button up here and you can text it to somebody. You can include it in an email to somebody. You can print it. You can save it to your files. So there are 1,000 things that you can do with it once you have scanned it into your phone. All right. So we're getting towards the end of our time, and I do have a couple of more things, but before I go on, does anybody have anything that they would like to know how to do that maybe you haven't figured out yet? Touch on a couple of more things. One is how to send an image in a text. My husband So if I wanted to send my husband a picture that I have taken on my phone, for example, then I can press the button. I can select the photo from my camera roll that I would like to send to him, and then I just hit send. And then
you don't have to use this camera down here, or the photo thing down here.
you don't have to, you can. So, you know, if I wanted to take a picture of whatever's happening right now and send it to him, I could. Then I can, you know, then that gives me access to my camera so I can take a picture to send him. And then, you know, I could just send that off. But if I wanted to just send a picture that is on my phone to somebody, all I have to do is go into that. But the other way to do it is you can go into your photo album, and you can find a photo, for example, that you would like to send to somebody. And then down here at the bottom left is this little box with the arrow in it. And that's going to give you the option of what you'd like to do with that photo. So for example, I could send it to my husband via text. He pops up right here as somebody that I frequently or recently have texted. If the person's not listed there, I can choose this messages button right here, and that will open it up, and I can start typing somebody's name, and it will pop up. So if I wanted to send it to Chrisabine, for example, I actually had just sent her that photo last night, so I won't resend it to her, but I could send it to her. But if I was like, oh, I don't remember, you know, I don't remember, or I want to send it to multiple people, you can click the add button, and then it will take you into your contacts list. So you can just choose people. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay. All right. So we've gone over having a FaceTime, creating custom alerts, ringing through, using a magnifying glass, screening your calls. One thing that is frequently asked in our questions is about taking a selfie. You know, if you're out and about and you don't have anybody else to take your picture for you, how do you take a selfie? So you open up your camera app, which is at the top. Okay, now my camera is backwards right now, so everybody's just looking at my computer screen. But at the bottom down here, there is a little thing that looks like a camera rotate. And so that's what you're going to do. And then your camera will look at you versus looking at the other way. So you're going to want to get it. So here's a helpful tip. And tips are come down on yourself, because nobody wants to see underneath my chin, right? So you're going to want to hold it a little bit higher than you would think is normal and kind of look down on yourself, okay? And you know, if you're trying to get a couple of people in and you can't reach the button here anymore, you can press the down volume button on the side of your phone. That will take an image.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, additionally, that works really well if you're trying to be, you know, stealthily taking pictures. I know that sometimes my kids are doing something really cute and I don't want to be obviously taking a picture of them because I don't like it. So you can just, instead of like, you know, squaring up and, you know, pressing the button, you can just press the down volume button and that will snap a photo for you. So typically sometimes, To get a screenshot, you press the button, the home button here on the bottom, and the side down button, and that will take a screenshot for you. Or I'm sorry, the power button. So if you press the power button plus the home button at the same time, it takes a screenshot.
Which
Do you have anything that you've been trying to do, or you think would be great if you could do, that maybe you can do? All right.
All right.
So if there are no more questions and everybody is good to go, I will let you all get back to your evenings and then relax